Hello everyone. I wanted to do a recording to talk about building your gaming computer. I'll share some information and life hacks with you. First, I want to cover testing yourself. There is a lot of people out there that still are hesitant or afraid of building your own computer. The best thing you can do for yourself is buy a motherboard and APU. In my opinion, the processor is going to be the more sensitive part. If you can get that, the rest is downhill. The reason I'm saying that is because as of 2020, AMD is the dominant processor. Maybe it'll change in 2021. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens with Intel's response. But the reason AMDs are kind of sensitive is because they have pins under them. Sure, there's a very small chance of you bending or breaking them, but it does happen with some people. For that reason, you want to buy a relatively low-cost motherboard and a low-cost APU. APUs are processors with integrated graphics that can boot the computer. The reason you want to do that is because if you keep the cost of the parts low, then it's easier to replace them than, say, if you did this with a $200 motherboard and a $450 processor. As of October, this ASRock B550M Pro 4 has been sitting at $95 for a couple of days straight, and it's pretty awesome. I've seen reviews for this, so I would say this is an excellent motherboard to buy for testing yourself. As for the APUs, we'll have to wait until November 5th to find APUs that will work with this particular motherboard. But that's what I would keep my eye on. Sure, you can do a cheaper motherboard to test yourself, but then it's kind of a waste at that point because you're not really going to be using that for gaming. This can be used for gaming, so you're spending, what is that? $81 versus $95, so that's $10.4. So spending $14 more to make sure that if you do get past the initial test, then you can use this for gaming. Perfectly fine. Moving on though. Building the computer is only one thing that you can do for yourself. You can also make sure you have a bunch of other stuff at your disposal, starting with ratchet screwdrivers. This has helped me a lot in the time that I've been putting together computers. If you can, find a reputable brand that has an angled ratchet screwdriver like this one here on the right. That would be awesome to have. The angle will help you reach more areas of the build, however, it will not reach everything. For that reason, you're going to need pencil-thin screwdrivers, which I don't have pulled up on the screen, but it should be pretty easy to picture a pencil, so I don't think I really need to pull that up. But always have multiple screwdrivers or a set of screwdrivers for this kind of stuff, just so you're prepared. Another thing, too, that you can do to make it easier on yourself, although I don't recognize this brand, but you can get angles adapters for your video card. One of the things that I find annoying is that a lot of cases will list the length of video card it will tolerate, but not the width. For some cases, the width of the video card is a problem. To help you with that situation, you can get one of these angled adapters for that. While we're talking about these angled adapters, this is a angled adapter for the 24 pin, which is the main power supply connector for your motherboard. This will help with cable management more than anything, but I wouldn't say it's important. It's just one of those, it's worth keeping in the back of your mind if you want to do it. It's $17 anyways, not a huge deal. Here's one of the life hacks. Odds are you'll be using both of your hands for computer building. For that reason, it's going to be easier just to get one of the bicycle headlamps so that the light source is on your head rather than your hands. You can buy from any number of places, whether it be local store or online store for this kind of stuff. Whenever you do buy it though, always check two things. The battery usage, in this case this is AAA, and the lumens. Lumens is more or less a rating of how bright the light's going to be. 100 lumens or more is going to be really bright, and that's what you want. A lot of places in the computer build are going to be really dark, or at least the color of the component is going to be really hard to see. So, yeah, the brighter the better, but always make sure it's using a common battery type for the sake of recharging. I will quickly go and point out 511 here. 511 is a company that makes many different things for first responders. This is a brand that I would certainly consider reputable. I have had plenty of 511 products over the years, and they've all done really well for me. So if you want to buy from 511, you can do that, or you can come over here to something like Amazon. Okay, next thing is the anti-static mats. You can buy anti-static mats for building your computer on top of, and people will of course debate as to how useful they are, but I see them as more than anti-static mats. It's also something to build upon, so if you do scratch this, it won't be as bad as scratching furniture or something like that. So I do see this as a multi-use type of object for that reason. But yeah, you can buy any number of anti-static mats, and they will come with the wristbands to go with it. You do want to wear a wristband on top of having an anti-static mat if you really want to go all the way. That's probably all the life hacks and information I can share in regards to actually doing the build. Now I want to focus on future maintenance. When it comes to computer maintenance, you do want to change out the thermal paste every 6 months. There's various instructions online. I'll link one in the description when I find it. But when you replace the thermal paste, from what I've seen, it's generally best to do it with rubbing alcohol. Make sure you remove the older thermal paste with the rubbing alcohol before applying the new thermal paste. If the processor cooler is not coming off very easily, like it feels stuck or something, don't try to yank that. There's various articles on how to get around that problem online. I think one is turning on your computer to let it get warm or something like that. I'll have to double check for that too. I haven't had that issue ever in any of my builds. I've always been able to remove the thermal paste without a problem, but just in case, I want to make sure it's mentioned. Dusting out the computer is the next maintenance phase after the thermal paste every 6 months. Well, you're going to be doing dusting a lot more often than 6 months, depending on the environment you live in and things of that nature. You can buy these disposable dust masks if you want to, or a reusable one. I'm aware the reusable ones do exist, but I don't know which brands are considered reputable for that. But you can certainly look into that if you want to, whether or not to do the reusable or the disposable. Another thing to look into for dusting is the dusting method. Metrovac is a reputable company when it comes to IT cleaning supplies. You can buy a straight up vacuum from them or an electronic duster. It's really whatever your preference is, but either way, the reason that Metrovac is so good is because of anti-static built into these products. That's why there's a difference in price between this white one and this black one right here. It's because this one over here is anti-static, this one isn't. This vacuum over here is also anti-static, so. But yeah, you can buy any one of these products, assuming it's available in your country. People will tell me, oh, the price is really high, but actually it really isn't. If you come over here to just canned air search in Google, we'll take the most expensive one, which is $847. So let's see. We're going to take, what was it again? It was 110, right? Yeah, 110. 99. We're going to divide that by 847. And it comes out to roughly 13 cans. That's what you're essentially doing here, is you're paying for a bulk purchase of cans. But it's one that actually lasts longer because it's electronic. This is certainly great to have. Oh yeah, and it comes with all these little tools, by the way, which is also great. That's really all I can say on building the computer, maintaining it, and all that. I hope this helps you. Thanks for listening.